Welcome back to my 4th episode of EHPN. I have my first guest here, Shock. He is a Warriors team manager on ProSportsDaily.com on their forum, so go check that out. And welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Man. Max Shock from Pro Sports Daily. Golden State Warriors from the stomach at birth till I'm under the earth. Recognize.
So this week's show is going to be about the trading deadline, the NBA, what happened throughout that whole day. The Warriors, they made the biggest splash in the trading deadline. They acquired Andrew Bogut, Steven Jackson for Monte Ellis, Kwame Brown, and Ekpe Udoh. Then we shipped Jackson off to San Antonio for a first-round pick and Richard Jefferson. When I first saw this happen with Monte Ellis, you see a lot of negativity on Facebook that why the Warriors do that, Warriors are done, etc. And you gotta look from a long-term point of view. The Warriors have not had a 7-footer and a decent 7-footer since Chris Webber probably. And we finally have that presence in the middle. We are going to win those close games now. We have a direction now. We have big men that will take us to the playoffs for the next couple of years if he's healthy, and that's the key word, but I think he will. I think Curry will too. I have a friend on Facebook that had a status that said the Warriors are not made up of 5 shooting guards anymore, and that is you can't say it any better than that. No more threes playing the 5s. You know, that got ridiculous. The Don Nelson era is long gone and we're still playing that kind of ball. So I'm very excited. Hats off to Riley for what he did. I think the Warriors were the biggest winners, and not because I'm a Warrior fan. I mean, you look at the long term, the Warriors are going to be an up and coming team now. They're not going to be in the middle anymore. They're not going to be on the bottom. They are up and coming. And my first question to you, Shock, is how do the Warriors benefit off this Bogut trade?
Oh, they're definitely going to benefit greatly. First of all, you don't trade bigs for smalls in the NBA. The fact that Riley was able to do that is just amazing. We have a top 3 center in the NBA when healthy, traded for a 6'3" undersized combo guard. Sure, we're going to miss Monte Ellis' scoring, but anytime you can get a big man out of a trade that's a legit 7-footer, it's definitely a good look.
And that's, Warrior fans, just keep your eyes open, keep your hopes up, just stick with your team because there's going to be good basketball coming back to the Bay. Now, I think another trade, which to me was the biggest head scratcher. A lot of people outside or throughout the whole nation think the Ellis trade was the worst trade of the deadline. But for me, it was JaVale McGee going to Denver, Nene going back to Washington, and Nick Young going to the Clippers. The Clippers and Washington benefited off that trade. Well, why would Denver trade Nene for JaVale McGee? I think Nene is a solid player. He's proven himself for years. I understand he got that big contract. Maybe Denver's having a little buyer's remorse, but I feel like you downgraded. JaVale McGee, I wanted, as you guys know from my previous video, I wanted the Warriors to get JaVale McGee, but anyone is better than Beatrice. But if you replace JaVale McGee with Nene, that is a downgrade. His immaturity, I think, will affect Denver unless George Karl could, straighten him out, which, hopefully he can, because I think he's a gifted player. Why do you think Denver did that trade?
Well, it's very interesting. I really don't know as to why they did that, because they just gave him that big contract. I'm not too certain as to why they did that. Like you said, it might have been buyer's remorse, but you have to understand that JaVale McGee he's the most athletic big man in the league. Maybe they were trying to go with a more defensive front line because they do have the scoring there. They have Gallinari, they have Ty Lawson. Nene is definitely the better player out of the two, but it's really interesting to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, and I think now Washington's going to be on the rise because now you got Jordan Crawford having the majority of the minutes now. And even though the name won't be as effective this year, I think Washington's going to be a team to look out for next year. And now for you Laker fans, dramatic day for you guys because the Derek Fisher era ended again. The Lakers traded Derek Fisher to Houston for Jordan Hill, but they upgraded their point guard position by getting Ramon Sessions, and I think that was the key. That was the key for the Lakers because they haven't had a point guard all year. And now they're going to be a huge threat to San Antonio and Oklahoma. Do you see the Lakers maybe even making the championship this year because of this Ramon Sessions now?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. You have to understand that Derek Fisher, he's not the player he used to be.
Yes.
And at the same time, Ramon Sessions now coming in, he's definitely going to provide a spark for them because he's young, he's fast, he can distribute the ball, he can run the floor. But what people don't know is that Fisher, he's the leader of the team. a lot of people want to say Kobe is, but you have to understand Kobe won 5 championships with Derek Fisher, you know, as his floor general. It's going to be very interesting to see what they can do without him.
And they were still able to keep Gasol and Bynum, so that's, I mean, Bynum's just been on fire lately. I mean, the Lakers finally got the full potential out of him, I think, and that is going to be the key in the playoffs. So our brief winners and losers of the trading deadline, I feel the Warriors were big winners, the Lakers, and the Rockets. I think they lack that big man because Dallenberg should not be a starter. I know Camby's old, but they didn't give up much for him, and he's going to be a very good defensive presence for them. The loser, I think, is Atlanta. Atlanta, I think it's a little chaotic over there because Josh Smith wanted out. And they didn't replace Al Horford. Zaza is not your guy as a center, especially in the tough Eastern Conference. So they should have done something, but they didn't, and they're going to pay for it in the playoffs. And Shaq, how about you? What's your winners and losers?
Well, definitely the winners for me. First and foremost is the Warriors. We didn't trade for the now, but we traded for the future, so the future looks bright. My winner is definitely the Portland Trail Blazers. They got rid of Marcus Camby's contract. They got rid of Gerald Wallace's contract, basically for a first-round pick from the Nets, and that's definitely going to be a top 5. Everybody knows the draft is going to be heavy, 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 so Portland definitely a winner. And my biggest loser is the Indiana Pacers. They gave up a second-round draft pick for Leandro Barbosa to the Raptors. Personally, I don't think Barbosa does anything for the team. You know, they have Paul George at shooting guard, Granger at small forward. He may run some point behind Collison, but, you know, overall, I think it's a horrible trade. But then again, they only gave up a second-round pick.
Plus, Portland fired McMillan, and they had to get rid of him too. So I think that's double winner for them. Anyways, that concludes our trading deadline analysts. Very excited. Fair Sports is on the rise. A little off topic though. Manningham is a Niner. That means Manning is it should be coming to the Niners hopefully, because it makes more sense now versus the Titans versus the Broncos, because they're garbage teams. Maybe the Broncos are okay, but Titans are garbage. The Niners make the most sense. Hopefully we'll hear in the next week or so that Manning is officially a Niner. That is my bold prediction. I want to thank Shaq for being my first guest of EHPN. He will be back. Check out Pro Sports Daily. Subscribe to Punchline Theory and subscribe to my channel, and we will see you guys in my next episode.